Here we have an animation and we've got 3 different cameras looking at 3 different parts of the shot, focusing on different areas. And we'd probably use camera 2 and 3 to just use little frame ranges to cut in different parts just to maybe add a bit more interest to the main shot. So we can use the take system, which is a very powerful feature which was brought in release 17 to help us get out different shots. So we can come over to the takes tab. This is the main take. This is what you just work in normally. This is like just your standard Cinema 4D scene. And then we can choose a new take just by pressing this button here. We'll give it a name, call it Cam 1, and you can choose a camera. You can also choose a render setting. We'll look at those soon. Now we can create another one for our second camera, and we'll select the camera to look through, and you can see it's jumping over to that view. And camera 3. This will be our third take. You saw over here, or you might see that I've got these options in the HUD, and these are for just selecting different cameras, and this is for selecting different takes. So to enable that, just press Shift V, come up here, and this is the checkbox for the camera. And if you come all the way down, you can check on the current take, and you can also check on your render settings as well. You can make it really easy just to switch between takes rather than coming all the way over to here and then choosing a take like so. So let's look at take 2, camera 2. We'd probably only use the first part of this shot just to get a sense of the movement of these tubes. And we probably don't want to see this just hanging around here. So how would we remove that just from this shot? This is where the take system comes into its own. It's amazing. We can create what's called an override group, so you can add objects to this group. So I've just created it by pressing that button, and it has a new group here. And what we can do is go into our object manager, and we can just grab what we need to what we want to hide. So it's going to be this area here, this plus. So I'm going to grab that null and drag and drop it into the new group. Make sure it's in the new group, and you'll see this little arrow. We can drop that down. And now if we come over to here, you can see this plus to add a group tag, and we can add a compositing tag to this. In the compositing tag settings, if you click on it, and if you can't see this, let's bring this down, you need to have this button checked on. So that means we can view those settings, and it's just like the regular compositing tag. We'll just uncheck scene by camera, and then we'll render our view, and we can still see something on here. Or why is that? I thought we'd hidden it. If you come back over, you can see that this is the take compositing tag. It's got a little T on it. And we've still got one on our plus. And if you look down, you can see the plus has seen by camera on. So it's still being respected. What we need to do is override this. We can right click, and then here you see override. And that means we can uncheck that just for this take. Now if we render, it has disappeared, and that's exactly what we want. We could set up different frame ranges, and we could choose different render settings based on our main render setting for each of our cameras, and then assign them to a take. And then we wouldn't have to render the whole frame range 3 times. So we can save ourselves time, and it's just a better workflow. And we'll look at creating previews next.